What are some of the most common mistakes that people make when it comes to contracts?
I think companies need to be better at saying, this is what this says and this is what this means, not just parading out 20 pages of, fine print and saying agree or disagree, agree or stop using our service. I think there's a lot of room there for companies to be better about communicating what they're saying and doing. So when I think about what a contract should do, it should be relatively easy to understand what's going on. And it's clearly not the case in a lot of these end user license agreements or privacy policies or things like that. So I'm a big proponent of, simplifying, standardizing, and communicating clearly what's going on there. And that's a long, slow process. I mean, for a long time, a lot of these agreements were so dense that even lawyers didn't want to deal with them. And over time, I think things have gotten less, certainly for me, right? Like I don't love the intellectual exercise of unraveling a contract. I want to know what it says and I want to know what our obligations are and get on with my day. And so I think the idea of simplifying the process of understanding what's in there, whether it's, in a privacy policy or a terms of service or what have you, giving people bullet points that say, oh, okay, yeah, I get this. I see what I'm agreeing to instead of, the way most are done. Certainly, I think within companies too, the contracts are getting a little more, structured and understandable rather than just dense paragraphs of run-on sentences. I hate that. That stuff drives me nuts. I don't draft that way and I won't. Just get me. Yay. So when you think about a mistake in a contract, to me, a mistake is like run-on sentences, paragraphs without headers, huge blocks of text that, with tons of semicolons. That's just
word salad.
Horrible.
I hate word salad.
And I think that's like a job security thing for lawyers. It's like nobody can understand it unless you're talking to the person who wrote it or somebody who's going to spend hours and hours dissecting it. And that's just not efficient. And it doesn't have to be that way. So we won't see that sort of thing with NOR, right? The NOR stuff will be done correctly. I think so. I mean, I think, one of the challenges of things like the terms of service and privacy policies is they are complex. And there is a lot that goes into that and a lot of thought goes into these. But, by working with the folks that we work with, one of the things you start to see is a certain amount of standardization of this is how it's done across different industries. So, when you say, should I click on this thing or shouldn't I, depending on who it is, obviously, but in certain industries that are, engaging good lawyers, you're going to see a lot of commonality across these things. So you're not going to be like, oh, this is completely different because it's a different company. A lot of times they're actually quite similar because they're all trying to capture the same ideas for people. So there's some amount of standardization I think is already happening there. And I think it's helpful.